Hi, I'm Karen Aguirre, and I'm your host. I'm a first-generation American, and like many of us, I grew up learning how to listen closely to what was said and to what wasn't. This podcast was created to hold the stories that shaped us, especially the ones we didn't have the language or the permission to share at the time. In honor of Father's Day this Sunday, I am using this episode to celebrate the dads who have made a difference in our lives. You will hear 4 different stories about fathers and the impact they have had on their children. Let's begin. Día de los Padres. This first story is about my dad. Ever since I can remember, my dad would always make sure my siblings and I had everything we needed and has always been my biggest supporter. He crossed the border and worked his ass off to make sure we had a better life. Even after the longest days of work, he would make time when he got home to play with us. I have so many fond memories of my dad. One of my earliest memories was him fixing my favorite play telephone. I had this super cute rotary corded phone. It was pink and white, and it was my favorite thing to play with at the time. We were at my grandma's house in Mexico, sitting on a blanket outside the kitchen area. My little sister was barely walking at the time. I was sitting there playing with my telephone, and she would get up and fall as she was roaming around the area playing. And this girl sat on my phone and broke the little piece that was holding the 2 hooks that held the handset. Oh my God, I was so upset. But I knew it was an accident, so I shook it off and went to my dad to get it fixed. So he grabbed some glue and glued it back together. He held on to it for a bit until it dried off and then handed it back to me. I was so happy that he had fixed it, and so I went back to sit on the blanket, and guess what? She did it again. She sat on my phone again. This time, I just bawled my eyes out. It had just gotten fixed, and now I was going to have to get my dad to fix it again. And he did. He was so quick about it, and it was fixed before I knew it. My dad is a man of many talents. For my quinceañera, he took it upon himself to make sure it was the best party. I was still so naive to how much money it took to throw a big party like this one, but nonetheless, he made it happen. He even pawned his car to make sure we had enough money to throw me this party. He wanted to make sure every detail was perfect. One evening, he sat down with a sewing machine and sewed napkins for every guest, and then personalized them so that it would be a cute little takeaway. That party was everything I dreamt of and more. It was so much fun, and I will never forget the sacrifices my dad made in order for me to have the best quinceañera. He has supported me in every way possible my entire life. When I was in college, I went back and forth trying to decide which majors to stick with. The boyfriend I had at the time got in my head about how theater was not a major I should pursue because it would be really difficult to find a reliable job. I ended up dumping him and then made the decision that I was going to switch my major to theater because ultimately that's what I loved and I couldn't see myself doing anything else. That was the thing that brought me the most joy. I knew eventually I would have to let my parents know. I was really nervous to share this information with my dad because he had helped me with my school expenses, and I felt like I owed it to him to get a degree that was going to, for sure, pay the bills. And also, with switching my major, this would mean that I would be spending an extra year at my university, which meant more financial support for my dad. I finally worked up the courage to call him, and I just ripped off the Band-Aid. Cambié mi major a teatro. I changed my major to theater. He responded, "Ah, qué bien. That's great." I was shocked. I said, "You're not surprised?" "No. Yo no sé por qué no lo hiciste antes." "No. I don't know why you didn't do it sooner. Eso es lo que te gusta hacer. That's what you love to do." I was honestly so relieved and so happy to have my dad's support. He's always wanted me to go after what makes me happy, and I owe it all to him. This next story was shared by Daisy. My dad is the most hardworking person I know. He's done every job you could imagine. He dropped out of school when he was in middle school because in Mexico, it's very common to go help your grandpa or your dad at the fields to help your family. So he did that at a very young age and was not able to finish his education. But that did not stop him from eventually building his own business. My parents lost our house when I had to do my liver transplant because we were only living off of one income and the medical bills were stacking up. And on top of that, they also had to feed my siblings. They lost their home, but this didn't knock my dad down. He kept working, and it took him a little bit to get back on track because of the credit loss, but he was eventually able to buy another house. And this was the house that I grew up in. I did not know about the house loss until a couple months ago. My parents didn't want me to feel bad. They didn't want me to realize that happened because I got sick. My dad got a job at this company where one of my uncles had been working. My dad worked there for so many years, and he eventually became the manager. During this time, he got really close with the owner of the company. His name was Pat. He loved me and my family so much. Still does. He admired my dad so much for working so hard. He knew that he came to this country with absolutely nothing, and he also knew about my family situation. With me constantly being in and out of the hospital due to my liver transplant, Pat was always so kind and giving to my family. Every now and then, he would surprise my dad with trips for our family. Here's a treat to Disneyland. Hope you guys enjoy. Due to my sickness, he always wanted to make sure that I lived a good life, which was so sweet of him. I still talk to him to this day. Pat supported and trusted my dad so much that when it came time for Pat to retire, he wanted to make sure his company was left in good hands, and so he offered to sell his company to my dad. My dad always had this dream of being able to bring his parents over to the US. Once he had his own business, this dream seemed more attainable. I remember him saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to bring my mom and my dad here. I'm going to take them to all these fancy vacations and do everything for them that I could not do before." Not only was he working so hard for us, but he was also working hard for his parents and siblings who lived in Mexico. He was able to take care of my grandparents for a bit. Unfortunately, since my grandparents were a little bit older, they were not really able to travel. One of my dad's regrets was not being able to take my grandparents to Cancun. He would say, "My parents have never been to Cancun. I just want to be able to take them there." And he wasn't able to. He was, however, able to take his sister, who lives in Mexico, to Cancun. There, they talked about how much their parents would have loved it. It was heartbreaking not getting to experience it with their parents, but I know they really cherished that time together. My dad has always made sure that everyone is always taken care of. If someone needs financial assistance and he's able to help, he always does, because he knows what it's like to be in a place of scarcity. I admire the way he cares for people. I am so grateful he's my dad. This next story was shared by Perez. As soon as my family migrated to this country, my parents started working a lot. My dad specifically would be up at the crack of dawn to go find daily jobs to make ends meet, until eventually he found a full-time job. He was always working because he had 3 kids to take care of. But that did not stop him from spending time with me and my sisters. My sisters and I would eagerly wait for my dad to get home each afternoon, because we knew that as soon as he got home, he would play soccer with us. No matter what he was going through, how tired or dirty he was, the first thing he would do was greet us. Hola, mijitos, ¿cómo les fue hoy? Hi, my loves, how was your day today? We would run to him and tackle him with hugs. He would pick us up one by one and greet us. Then he would go to his room, grab his soccer cleats, and go outside to play soccer with us. We would play for hours, and he never complained about how tired he was. We would run around and laugh so hard until our mom would call us to go inside and have dinner. Then the next day, he would get up early again and go to work and back to kicking the ball around with us after work. He never missed an afternoon of playing soccer with us, and I am grateful for that because this is a core memory that I carry with me to this day. This final story was shared by Nel. I met my dad when I was only 16 years old. He brought me over from El Salvador to meet him. Growing up, I lived with my mom and my stepdad, so I was only in contact with my real dad every year for my birthday. I was excited to come to America to meet him and also get to live in the US. When I first met him, I was so happy to see him because I did not even know what he looked like growing up. As soon as I arrived, I started working with him and getting to know him as he taught me what he did for a living. He has always supported me in all my endeavors, and I will always be grateful for the opportunity. We love to go hunting together. I used to go hunting in El Salvador, and the first time my dad and I went hunting here in Georgia, I killed a deer. We still have the head of the deer, and I got it engraved with my name, date, and the name of the mountain. That was our first bonding experience as father and son. I always tell him that I want to be just like him when I get older. And he always responds with, "No, tienes que ser mejor que yo. No, you have to be way better than me." And I love this because he always pushes me to be the best version of myself. Happy Father's Day to all the dads who continuously make sacrifices for their families. Thank you for all that you do. The hard work does not go unnoticed. You cross borders to give us better lives, and that's no easy task. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We see you, we appreciate you, and we love you. If you are listening to this and a part of today's stories feel familiar, I want you to know that this space is open to you. I'm inviting first-generation Americans and immigrants to share your stories on your own terms. A moment you still carry, a choice, a realization, a memory that shaped you. You can remain anonymous, you can change names and details. Your story will be narrated with care, not exposed. You can submit your written story by emailing inthesamebreathpodcast@gmail.com, or you can request a Zoom interview to share your story. Please don't forget to leave a rating or comment, as this creates visibility for the podcast. Thank you for being here. Until next time, hasta luego.